Hi, 77 subscribers. Okay, so in this video, I'll show you how to build an email automation either for your personal needs or for your business. Okay, so here's my screen. Basically, you can build it in a few different ways. So the idea here is that we have a person who or a company who send you an email. So you have, an email here. We can call it E. Then we process this email here and then provide the output to, to this person back. So this is the structure basically. Of course, the simplest way I think to build it is to use something like Make or Zapier. I'm not gonna do it right now. I'll just show it what's possible. I think if you ever build any automation, you'll be able to handle it. So we can like put the email block, Gmail. Get the email, and then so we connect the email. Then we set the parameters. Then let's say we can do something like OpenAI. Um, so something like, for example, depending. So of course you can create the completion. For example, like if it's generalized question, you can create the completion based on just GPT 4.0 model. Or if it's more complex query, let's say you have, you create your custom assistant, custom GPT, and then you want this GPT to answer the specific query from the email. So obviously, you can connect similar block from API, and where is it? Message the assistant, choose the assistant, and go from there. So and then send another email with where is it? Like send an email. So this is how the structure would look like, and these are the steps. Basically, this process. No, actually not this one. This process can be done through Make, right? So processing these queries. The problem is that, of course, in theory, you can create a custom GPT or an assistant, and then let it basically respond to the user query. But what if, especially in business cases, what if you have very, very specific requests and a broad knowledge base inside your business? So you have a lot of different documents, especially if it's a technical question. You can think about it as a chatbot for your business, right? So if you know, like apple.com. So if you connect the chatbot here that I showed you in the previous videos, you kind of understand it. I think you can teach the chatbot on your documentation, and people will interact within this chatbot. So the same thing can be applied. So you can build similar database. So you can, for example, from here, the process would go to, let's say, a second brain, what we call it, second uh, brain or knowledge base, right? So then it will process the materials, and then it will provide a query, and then this query will be sent to customer. So kind of like chatbot works, but through the email. It's not actually as complicated. Of course, the difference and the quality of the responses and the quality of database, this is where the actual work comes in. But the structure is not as hard to do. Again, even here, you can create it in a few different ways. You can even build it purely inside VoiceFlow. You can build an assistant, but it would require a bit of custom code. So for something like that, we can use vector shift. This is the demo account, so let me actually show you from scratch how we will do that. So it has different things like pipelines, automations. So we'll create an automation, but we'll start with the pipeline. Let me give you okay, so we can create from scratch. Okay, so first, again, vector shift might seem a bit complicated, but don't worry, like it's very, very straightforward. It's drag and drop primarily. So we have an input, and we have actually two inputs, and we can call them, for example, email address, and another input we can call email body. Okay, and like body, you understand why we need the body, but for the email address might not be as straightforward. Give me a second. Okay, so we have the email and we have the body. So then let's say we need the context where we'll get the information from to for the assistant to respond on. Again, different, we can like kind of go in different routes. Of course, you can create a, I showed it in the previous videos, but let me actually show it. So if you can go to storage, you can build, a knowledge base. So this is like, let's say a demo, and you can add different documents, different URLs, different integrations to this knowledge base, right? And then based on this knowledge base, you will, like, let's say, choose this knowledge base, and then you will provide this knowledge base as a context for AI to respond on the query. Okay, so but again, it's like kind of complicated to go on this route. It's going to be a longer video, so let's go and let's do something maybe more simple. Okay, so it's data loaders, and we can set the file. So let's say we have a file that has all the information about the business. Again, it's more relevant to service-based businesses, which usually don't have huge documentation when we're working, with wholesalers, distributors, manufacturers, or even service-based businesses like insurance companies that do have huge documentations and policies depending on different types of customers. But let's say if it's a service-based business, you can kind of fit everything into one doc. Like not all the time, but let's think that this is the example, right? So we can upload the file here, and I have some files here. We can choose the tool way. Okay, so we have three inputs. This is not directly the input, but still. So what we do then, we go to LLM and we choose the OpenAI. Okay, we can do the Claude, we can do Llama, but this is the most straightforward one. So, and you have the system prompt and you have the regular prompt. So you can say, your goal is to answer user email based on the context I'll provide. Something like that, in the prompt. Here is the user question. And we can say question. So as you can see, it popped up the input node here. So we'll connect it, basically the body, to here, right? So the body is basically a question. Again, of course, like not all of the emails have questions, and this is where it becomes interesting. You'll need to set filters, what emails you want to process. So here, of course, you would qualify, okay, so is this a question? Is this a technical question? Send this to a specific route that has only documents. No, so let's say this here, we can send a conditional step for the AI, and we'll ask AI, hey, if it's a technical question about our products, please send to route number 1, and we'll have like pipeline number 1. And in this pipeline, we'll have a separate documentation on the technical detail for the products. And we can say, if it's a generalized question, send it to the pipeline number 2, and we'll create a pipeline number 2, and we'll have files of documentation which will answer specific, not specifically generalized queries, okay, about the business. Anyways, I'm not gonna go into this right now. So then we can do something like that, and here is the context, and we can say context, watch the node will be created here. Okay, so but like it's not the best when you you can connect it like that. So what you actually need to do is you need to add semantic search mode here, and you basically add the document, and you add the query, and then you connect it to the context. Again, this is just this technical step. You can choose any model here. So this is how it looks, but we have not connected the email, right? And then let's say we have the response. Actually, let's do this. So let's choose GPT 4.0, and let's give like additional rule, your response must be in 2 sentences. Oh, okay. And add one winter, no, actually two relevant emojis. Again, you're not going to add emojis to your business email, but just for the sake of this example. And then the interesting part. So we will create the Gmail. This is where, vector shifts is better than VoiceFlow. VoiceFlow doesn't have these functionalities, but it's not like actually a problem. You can create a API request to the make. Basically you would do something like in VoiceFlow, you will have a block called API. Okay, so if you watched any of my previous video, you'll know what I'm talking about. So you will have something like, where is it? Something like that, the get, but it will be like, for example, the post request, the API request and here you'll have the webhook. So you'll have the webhook, and so you'll, no, sorry. Sorry, sir. It's not. Yeah. So it will be not. It's going to be the different one. But anyways, so you'll create the webhook here, and then when the webhook is triggered, you will send an email. So it's kind of similar, but here you can actually do everything internally, and you can, in theory, do it internally on the VoiceFlow, but it's going to be more complicated. Here you can just use the Gmail mode, and choose the account here. This is my business account. And let's say create email draft. Okay. So as you can see, we need to connect a subject, recipient, and the body. Okay. So the subject, for the subject, let's give it generalized subject um, like testing, or let's say it's YouTube video test. So this will be our subject. Recipient. The recipient will be here. So basically, this is the input, right? And I'll show you how it's connected. But let's say some email send us an email to our business email. And this, we need to respond to the first email, right? So this is, we will respond to this email. I'm not sure, sorry if it's confusing, but I think you got the idea, right? Okay, let me explain again. So you have email 1 and you have email 2. Sorry, you probably understood it just for the sake of, so that everyone understands it. So email 1, send the email here. So we get this address, right? We get this address, and then like this basically goes to second brain, processing, and replying to here. So that's where this email comes in. So we need to reply back to this email. Got it? Okay. So, and then for the body, we will have the response from OpenAI LLM. So this is the structure. Okay. Now, what we need to do, we need to deploy. Okay, so let's deploy. Let's just save the changes. And now we will deploy this because, okay, so we can start it, but yes, it's connected to the Gmail here. So, but how do we get this inputs? Okay, so we have the file, but we need to get the email and we need to have the body, right? It's not connected to my Gmail just yet. It's just, when we have it, then sure, it can create the draft. But now it's not connected. So what we do, we deploy changes as automation. And let's call it YouTube test. No, so we're choosing the pipeline. So we are creating the app, and the app is Gmail. We select the account, same account, right? Since we will, just to clarify again, first we are choosing the account, the email number one, right? So where we are gonna receive these emails to. And we can event new email. So when the new email is here on this account, then process the responses. And then if you remember, we chose the same email earlier. So it's basically because we can receive an email to email number one, then send this information to vector shift, and then send an email from email number two to, let's say, email number three. Again, you can configure it in a lot of different ways, but again, for so that you understand it completely, again, we are creating the email where we want to create this draft. So where do we want to send the email from? So from eugen@quimple.agency. Okay, then we'll go back, and then we are choosing the email where we're gonna receive these emails to process to. So this is the same basically email. Guys, sorry, I'm not sure if I'm explaining it. I know that it's correct, but like if you get it, post in the comments if you don't understand something. So configure this YouTube demo, something like that. And now we are configuring the trigger. So when this automation will be triggered, basically when we receive the email into our inbox, right? So these are the matches. So like examples of the emails since it's connected my previous emails. And now the interesting part, pay attention. Remember in the very first, we created two nodes. That's when we stored it, the email address and the email body. So the email address of the sender. So who sent us this email? Again, so right now it's getting the Zoom. If I go to my email, as you can see, the last email was from Zoom. The recording has been disabled. So it's getting this email from, right? And then the email body is the content of this email. Okay, you're with me? Let's save it. Here, Zoom and the content. Process everything and then reply back to Zoom, since it's a recipient, right? It's the sender, but here it's a recipient, with the subject and with the content from LLM, from OpenAI. Okay? So if we go back and if we go to automations, it was not, guys, from vector shift. If you see this video, why it's not deploying automatically, not sure, but you need to deploy it manually. And now let's see how it works. So I have the email here. So this is where we need to receive the email. Let me actually go to my personal email. Okay. Okay, so this is my personal email. So let's actually compose the email. Sorry. Let's compose the email to Eugen@Quimple Agency with something like, I have a question. And then we are asking a question about our business, right? So in this case, sorry. So in this case, in this pipeline, we uploaded the file. So let's just, I'm not even sure what this file is all about. So let's say, what do you guys sell? Something like that. And send this email. Okay? Now we are waiting for this email. So we got it. As you can see, nothing in draft just yet. So now it will take some time. It's going through this and it will create the draft. Um, since it's deployed, let's wait. 1, 2, 3, ready. 10 seconds. Again, guys, so this, we'll go back, but while it's doing that, just trying to give you an idea that, of course, the response is going to be very generalized. We can filter different messages and emails, send it to different pipelines. We can specify how the response should be created. For example, usually for our clients, if we are, when we are creating email automations, we're not trying to respond to user questions. It's either or. So it's either we, if we want to process user questions or text in their in the body of the email, we process it, and then do create the draft and send a notification, for example, into the WhatsApp or into the Slack or into another email of a team member, so that it checks it, or into the CRM. It's the first part. Or if we are, automating something, as I was probably showing you on previous video, not sure, like, if the user, because of course here is just the body of the email, right? But let's say if the email has attachments and we want to process these attachments and then do something, of course it's going to be structured a bit differently. Okay, so let me actually pause the video. It took a while. These guys, vectorship is, it's not, it's pretty good software, but they're not as polished as something like VoiceFlow. But again, I think they are built for different things. So this is for more like complex app style automations. So we have a draft here, and as you can see, we provided a query here as the as prompt to, response should be in 2 sentences in 2 relevant emojis. So we have 2 emojis here and the relevant, response. We sell a variety of drilling cutting tools, including diamonds, household. Okay, guys, so this is how we automate. uh, Like, of course, we're not gonna sell you, or you're not gonna probably sell something similar. Uh, like, it's very basic, but I just wanted to give you an idea how an email automation might look like. Of course, I'm gonna expand on this topic further. I'll create more complex videos. If you want us to build you something similar but more complex, we handle a lot of different projects. Of course, most of them are very, very advanced, with like connecting to different third-party tools. Let us know. You have my link to my agency, or you can directly book a meeting with me, or at least please subscribe. I have 70, I said 77 or 76 subscribers. I'm not sure why my video got viral. One of them, 2,000 views. I got, probably 60 subscribers from one video, and now my videos are getting 10 views. Guys, please put a comment, share this video, like it. I like, do something. I want to be popular. Okay, guys, thank you. Take care. Peace.